Open the box. Remove the wrench tool and knife. Set the box and all remaining parts aside. Ensure your blade is taped, covering the cutting edge. Loosen the pivot screw with the wrench tool until you can feel it click. Use the pivot screw to push the auto pivot and auto spring out. Remove the pivot screw. Remove the rear pivot and bearing. You can use the wrench tool if needed to push the rear pivot out. Push the button in to remove the blade, the button, and the button spring. Remove the auto spring from the auto pivot. Now to reassemble. Note the location of the slot and the auto pivot, ensuring that it lines up with the inside spring leg on the auto spring for reinstallation. Set the auto spring in the auto pivot and off to the side. Load your bearing on the rear pivot, button spring, and button into the handle. Note the orientation of the button. Depress the button to install the blade into the handle, noting that the blade locates around the rear pivot, and keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. Here are the alignment slots on the auto pivot that locate over the handle tab. This is the auto spring leg that must locate into the blade pocket for correct auto function. Here is position 1 and 2 on the auto pivot. Line up the two alignment slots in the auto pivot with the 1 and 2 marks on the wrench tool. Install your pivot screw. Grab your assembled auto pivot, ensuring that the auto spring leg goes into the blade pocket first during pivot insertion. For softer deployment, rotate the auto pivot clockwise until you feel and see it set into position 1. For faster deployment, you can use the pivot screw to slightly push the auto pivot up to set into position 2. Loosen the pivot screw until it clicks, and then tighten the pivot screw down snug. Push the button in to allow the blade to be recentered, and tighten the pivot screw until the blade does not deploy. Incrementally loosen the pivot screw until the blade fully deploys and you eliminate any side-to-side wiggle with the button pushed in. Your knife is now in automatic mode.